Weeks of the journey that I go on every year, which I'm on now, as a matter of fact, you can probably tell. And it is my wife hates when I go on this journey every year because I don't shave. And you might think, oh well, what is that about not shaving? And to me, I mean, each of us have our own things, our own little fleshly things. And when I'm sitting in the mirror trying to make my beard perfect and coming down and up and all this, and trying to look good, and that's flesh. And so for me, it helps if I just don't even focus on looking good. So I apologize. But this is just part of my journey, what I need to do. But there are things, what I found very interesting is, when I put that invitation out there for folks to join me on the journey, I got like 5 or 6 calls and emails, and I responded to those folks, over the internet with sort of, what the journey entails, as I sort of introduced the journey, on this program. It was about, going and looking at Bible characters and just, seeing, what we can come up with on our own, as our journey as individual, even if we're traveling together, and we'll see what we see, and it may not always be the same. People responded. But then I sent out the email to those respondents, and I sort of, this is what we need to do on this journey. We need to maybe begin to eat right and get rest. And maybe meditate 20 or 30 minutes a day, pray every day, and cut off the TV some, and don't substitute it with the internet. Just certain suggestions that would help. Just in your body. And it was very interesting. I didn't get any responses back after I sent that email. And what I'm suggesting today is this is the problem. It's easy to study the Bible. It's easy to show up somewhere once a week or once every other week or once a month or whatever and read Bible stories and discuss the Bible and feel all wonderful. But what's not easy is to begin to take care of the temple, the body that God has given you. Okay, and so it's the journey. Okay, and so it's sort of like if you're getting ready to go across country, take a trip in your car. I mean, you're going to make sure the tires are where they're supposed to be. You might get a tune-up or an oil change. Make sure the windshield wiper fluid is full and the brake fluid is just right. You're going to make sure your car's in. You're going to take this opportunity to sort of get your car in good shape because you're going on a journey. And why is that? Why do you need to get your tires together? Why do you need to get the tune-up? Why do you need to get the oil change before you go on a journey? Because the trip is going to be without incident. The trip is going to be the fullest, the most enjoyable trip. You're going to get the most out of the trip if you're not having to deal with the results of not having the right tire pressure. You're going to get the most out of the trip if you're not going to have to deal with your engine malfunctioning because you didn't have a tune-up or the oil was kind of what hadn't been changed in a while. You're going to get the best, out of your journey if you have windshield wiper fluid that's working and the car's in good condition. And that's what I'm telling you today. This is the flesh. These are areas of flesh that we're functioning in, that we're failing in. And what I'm suggesting is we've done this for 500, for so many hundred years we've studied the Bible. What else is there? I'm telling you the answer, the key to the ills that we are experiencing in our life is our flesh. Is our flesh. Some of us are dealing truly with weight issues. Some of us are dealing with addictions. Some of us are dealing with relationship issues, even either negative issues within our relationships or maybe stepping outside into relationships that we shouldn't even be in, relationship issues. Some of us are suffering in the workplace. The situation, the environment is all jacked up. And what I'm suggesting to you today is it's not just the journey that I've invited you on. It's your life is a journey. As you're a disciple of Christ, even as we understand, those that want to follow after me, deny themselves, follow after me. Being a disciple, your life is a constant and continuous journey. And it's imperative that you take care of this body so that you can experience the fullness of what it is you're supposed to be experiencing. In order to take care of this body, as Jesus sort of instructed us to do, there was a particular part of it that is in denying ourselves. And it's very difficult because everything that we do, all the ills, I'm telling you, every ill that you have in your life is an issue of flesh. It's an issue of self. If it's a weight issue, it's a weight issue because you want to eat something that maybe you shouldn't, or maybe that's not good for you continuously, too much. And well, you know you need to stop eating so much, you need to stop eating the wrong things, but it's your desire. You don't want to take the time, you don't want to go through the aggravation or the struggle of giving it up. That's flesh as well. If it's an addiction, it's the same thing. You enjoy doing it. That's your flesh. It's too hard to give it up. That's your flesh too. Your relationships, you find pleasure in getting in relationships that are not good for you, that seem exciting. That's your flesh. You don't want to have to deal with maybe what might seem the boredom of the relationship that you should be in. That's flesh too. In the workplace, you know, the tripping that we do and the interactions that we do and responding to people who respond to us negatively, even as believers, that's flesh. That's what I'm suggesting today. A lot of our issues, a lot of our ills, all of our ills have to do with flesh. And on your journey as a disciple, as the journey that I've invited you on, we have to begin dealing with our flesh. It's very important and very good to study this Bible, but we've studied the Bible inside out. We still have our issues. That is not the issue. The issue is the flesh. Jesus didn't say that if any man would come after me, study the Word. Jesus didn't say that if any man would come after me, go to church regularly and on Thursdays and Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Jesus said that if any man come after me, let him deny himself. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the flesh. So what I'm suggesting today on this journey, when I'm talking about a proper diet, I mean, we need to begin eating right. We need to begin feeding ourselves. We could even, look at medical journals, nutrition, writings and all that you don't think right if you don't eat right. So if we're trying to experience, God in such a way, and trying to understand this and understand that, we need to recognize the body that God gave us. We need to put the right fuel in there, right? My wife has a pretty nice car, and when the gas prices were way up there, I'd want to go ahead and just put regular gas in there. But she said, no, don't put regular in there, because it messed things up, and one... Yeah, I took that car, and I went to put gas in it one day, we first got the car, and I'm like, come on, that doesn't make any sense. And I put a lower grade fuel gas in there. That car was giving us problems for a minute, and I had to repent from that one. But you have to put the right kind of fuel in your car if you want it to run right. If you want your body, if you want your brain to think right and your body to operate right, you have to put the right kind of fuel in there. This is spiritual. See, we've been thinking spiritual is just reading the Bible and praying and going to church. No, spiritual is feeding your body. This is the body that God gave us, right? So if we're not taking care of that which God gave us, if we're not being good stewards of that which God gave us, we're not doing right. Now, again, we're okay with God because of what Jesus did, but we're functioning far below the potential that God has placed us to walk in simply because we're not treating that, we're not taking care of that which God has given us properly. If we're overweight, we're walking in the flesh. If we're addicted to certain substances or certain relationships or just not acting right, we're walking in the flesh. And what I'm suggesting today is we need to begin to address some of those issues, and that's sort of what I put out there. Send me an email. You'll see my email address, or give me a call at the end of the program. I'll shoot you an email or a letter in the mail and share with you, it's only like 10 little things. I think the first thing I have on there is proper sleep. We need to get proper sleep. The next thing I believe I have is a proper diet. And I'm not even suggesting what those things are. You know what you should be eating and what you shouldn't be eating, so try to change, Begin eating the right thing. And I'll tell you what'll help. If you go to bed earlier. You could look at the world of medical journals and you can get good information from those journals. There's a lot of good information out there outside of the Bible, okay, that'll help you be well. We need to recognize that. But the studies tell us that overweight folks stay up late. Because when you stay up late, you end up eating things you shouldn't be eating late. Your body metabolizes at a slower rate. You have all these issues. So right there, go to sleep earlier. Change your bedtime, and that will aid you in eating a proper